Hello and welcome to the Wheel Talk podcast, Giro edition. We're here for our first of our daily podcasts covering the Giro d'Italia Stage 1 time trial. And with me, I've got Loren Rowney.
Good evening, everyone, from my new house. I am exhausted from moving, but I am going to rally and bring as much energy as I can, and then I'm going to crash in my bed.
Well, it's been a long time coming, this move, so I think we're all pretty happy that you're there. We had a very fast first stage of the women's Giro, a individual time trial, 14.6 kilometers long, with one little climb that included a quick little descent with some cobbled switchbacks in it. So it wasn't just a straightforward time trial. There were some obstacles. Won by Letizia Borghesi, the former Italian national champion on the time trial bike, which we'll mention probably more details in a second. With Grace Brown coming in second, 1 second behind her. It was real close. And then Brodie Chapman coming in for third, 13 seconds later. Letizia Borghesi pulled on the first pink jersey of the race. She's worn the pink jersey, I think, only one time before. And it was when Trek Segafredo won the opening time trial, team time trial in 2020.
Something like that. Yeah.
She's only won, I think, 2 stages of the Giro as well. So for her winning this individual time trial and pulling on that first pink jersey is probably feeling pretty good. Plus, she put in some major time to some of her rivals that are going to be difficult for her to go up against on the later stages. We're going to talk about all of it. Let's start with Elisa. What an amazing ride from Elisa. I think we probably should have seen this coming when she had such a strong, flat performance in the Tour de Suisse. Like, remember in the Tour de Suisse, she was over 30 seconds ahead of Demi on the flat section before they changed bikes and did the climb for the second half of the time trial. And so we knew she was in good form. She won the national championships in Italy, but was disqualified after the race because her follow car was too close to her. So she had the fastest time, but she's not the Italian national champ for the time trial, but then turned around and put in an incredible performance the next day with a 35, I think, kilometer long solo attack to win the road race. So we knew the form was there. And I think the biggest thing is that the first pink jersey of the race is on the shoulders of an Italian. And her quote after the race was just stunning. She said it was really emotional for an Italian to wear the Maglia Rosa. It's a really big deal. And she mentioned that last year was really hard and she wanted to give this first stage a really good go and see how it went, and that it was a dream come true to be wearing the pink jersey.
And I love how she comments what her husband's, she was like speaking to her husband the night before, saying she was going to go out of the gates like a rocket. And he was like, hold up. Just stick to the pacing plan. And she gave him just, a really sweet shout out for taking his advice. And yeah, she's in incredible form. She's had a fantastic year. And I guess we kind of expected this from her, but I definitely have my money on Grace Brown, considering that the Olympics are just around the corner. But some good points made in the preview podcast from you, Tilda, and Sarah Gigante. I don't know if anyone expected so much of a difference in times between the GC contenders, which we're going to get into, because I think even Tilda was saying when it's about 15 kilometers, it's kind of a weird distance. It's not a full time trial distance. So sometimes you can get not a surprise ride from someone, but someone who might not perform in a 30K time trial can do really well here, because it can, there's a big difference between a 20-minute effort and a 40-minute effort. But not really surprised by this. But at the same time, I really wanted to see. I would have been happy if Grace had won too, must say.
I mean, I would have been happy if Brodie won too, but I'm just thrilled to see Elisa win. And for Lidl-Trek to have 2 on the podium on the first stage bodes well. We have an audio diary from Brodie and Elisa's teammate, Lizzie Deignan, who compared riding a time trial to swimming. She said, for her, it might as well be a different sport. So let's hear from Lizzie really quick.
So today started with a 15-kilometer time trial. I think as a team, we didn't really expect there to be too many gaps GC wise, so it was more about just focusing on the individual aspect of the performance and not thinking too far ahead. But actually seeing the results, there was already a couple of gaps to some GC riders, and Elisa did an amazing performance and secured pink, which is really cool. And then, a special shout out to Brody as well. She came third and did a really good time trial. So I think we're in a really good place as a team. The time trial itself was, quite technical towards the end. A couple of cobble corners on a downhill, and there wasn't that many opportunities to recover apart from on the downhill, which was quite technical. So personally, I found it, not a very fun time trial. I don't enjoy them at the best of times, but today was, a real power struggle for me. So either way, I'm happy that that day is behind us and that we have pink now. So there's lots of good positive things to look forward to. Tomorrow should be a sprint stage, so I guess we'll be thinking about taking Elisa Balsamo to the line, hopefully in a good position, and also obviously looking after Elisa Longoborghini in the pink. So all to play for still.
Yeah, Brody definitely is on incredible form, and I'm so glad that she's at this race because she wasn't sure if she was going to race, but it's great to see her there. And I think for Elisa, having her be at the race is going to be crucial because already, one of their GC favorites going into the race, the team hasn't exactly said who they're riding for, whether they're riding for Elisa Lamborghini or Gaia Riolini, but Gaia already lost 1 minute and 8 seconds in this first stage. It is the time trial. There are a lot of mountain stages to come, or 3 mountain stages to come, but 1 minute down on Elisa. She's like half a minute down on Lotte Kopecky, who we're not sure how she's going to go on those mountain stages, but is definitely not one to completely rule out. And 30 seconds, over 30 seconds down on Juliette Labous, she's definitely a threat. Like she's finished second in the Giro last year. She may have not had as strong a season this year, but she's been insanely consistent all season long. So to have already lost over 30 seconds to Juliette Labous is not a great start for Gaia Riolini, but it was still not a terrible time trial from her. She's not the strongest time trialist. I think being 1 minute down on Elisa is actually kind of a good thing for the team.
That's right. And it just made me think a little bit back to Tour de Suisse and how, Niamh Bradbury was a few minutes down. I mean, Gaia, obviously, you would think Niamh at this point, you wouldn't discount her as a contender, right? She is a major contender, Gaia, but having her down 1 minute and 8 seconds, it gives a little bit of leeway. So if there's something going, other riders might hesitate. But that said, she is actually quite close. Speaking of Niamh, like I was just looking at the times, like Gaia Riolini, 108. Kim Cadzone, I think she'll be quite disappointed with her ride, 114. Garcia, 120. Niamh Fisher-Black, 116. And Niamh Bradbury, who I would say would be going for a podium here, was 147 down. So I think out of all the GC contenders, she probably had not the best day on the bike, but again, that gives her a little bit of leeway too. But based on her previous performances, I don't think they're going to let her go too far.
Yeah, I think maybe the 3 biggest disappointments, but not even disappointments because it's still so early in the race and literally anything can happen. But I was surprised by Kim Cadzone just because she is the New Zealand national champ. And she had such a strong time trial in Swiss. Very different course, though. But I think for her, she's not going to be stressed about losing that time. It's just the day-to-day for her. So the only people who are going to be like, oh, man, she already lost are literally us on this podcast. Mavi Garcia is a really interesting one because she's one of the best climbers in the world and always seems to kind of unravel in the final stages. And the final stages are the hardest climbing stages, but she's already 1 minute 20 down, which doesn't bode well. Niamh Bradbury, of course, 1 minute 47, which is not ideal for her, but I think I hope that she's not stressed by that. I hope that she's just kind of taking it in stride and will do what she can. But I was really shocked to see Liana Lippert 2.5 minutes down already. 2.5 minutes down on the first day. I think Movistar is not going to know what to do with general classification. They might be a stage hunting team for this race because 2.5 minutes that's pretty much out of the general classification.
Yeah, I'd say so. She's not going to climb so well above everyone else that she puts 2.5 minutes, or I'll say 1:20 into like Riolini, for example. Yeah, I actually forgot Lippard was in the race because I only scrolled down to Neve Bradbury, who was sitting at 77th, and I was like, oh, this must be the last GC rider.
I mean, she's working her way back after she was injured in the off season, so she was really late starting the season and working her way back. But I think I was just kind of surprised, and I hope that she can get back to that form that we know that she can do soon because she's such an exciting rider. She can still be exciting in this race without going for GC though. There are like great stages for her. The stage that ends on the like little poppy uphill would be great for her. So it's not the end. All is not lost. A couple riders had really impressive rides. Ruth Edwards, who just won Thuringen, she was only 30 seconds down in 8th. That's a fantastic ride for her. And actually, one person that we also have an audio diary from, Urska Zigart, was 24th, finished 1:05 down. And I think the way she's climbing right now, that is a pretty good result for her. She was ahead of Gaia Riolini. So I think she'll be happy with that. Let's hear from Urska.
Yeah, today we started the Giro d'Italia woman with a nice time trial. I think a good length to really open up the lungs, the legs, test a little bit how everybody is feeling. For my taste, a bit too technical, but in the end, I was quite happy with how my day went. Also we were done with it early, so now I have time to also watch the tour on the TV. My stress doesn't end with my racing. But yeah, actually I'm quite happy that I'm racing the Giro during the tour because it's almost not almost it's for sure it's less stressful for me to race than to watch Tadej racing on the TV. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few days. It will be a nice week in Italy. Looks like it's going to be a hot one, and we have a really strong team here, and today on the bus we already had a nice atmosphere preparing for this time trial. Everybody is on board with the goals. Everybody is excited about it. It looks like a hard one coming up. But yeah, I've just checked the Velo viewer for tomorrow. Looks like a pretty short stage. With probably like a little reduced bunch sprint, and we will try to see our options with our sprinters, and I'm looking forward to it. The only thing I'm not looking forward to the next few days, I saw that the starts are quite early. I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess I'll have to live with this for a week. I know it's for a good purpose because we get more TV time this year, and so the fans can watch us before they turn on the tour. So yeah, I guess everything has its cause, and yeah. Day one checked, and looking forward to the rest of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of those top GC or let's say climbers were sitting around roughly the same sort of time. So within, if I'm looking at the times in front of me, about 20 seconds. Niedermeyer had a pretty decent time trial. only 48 seconds down. Like you said, Labu was 29 seconds down. Then, of course, Kopecky coming in for fifth. Cedrine Cabal had a really good ride as well. And then a really notable performance was from the young Dutchie who got second at the national championships, Leica Nguyen. She's only 22 years old and she got fourth. So I thought that was really strong. And I had a little flick through her results and she's been super consistent over the past few years. So definitely remember that name.
I'm curious what SD Works Pro Time is going to do because they started the race without Marlon Reusser. We had speculated that she would be there. She was on the provisional start list, but SD Works was maybe the last team to release their roster, and she is not at the race. I have so many questions, but I hope that she's doing okay. And so that kind of puts them in an odd situation where is Lotte Kopecky their GC rider? If so, she's only 25 seconds down on Elisa. And she outclimbed Elisa at UAE, but that was a long time ago. And this is a different Elisa Longa Borghini than we saw earlier in the year. And Nee Fisher-Black, she was their GC rider last year, and it wasn't the perfect race for her, but that was last year. So we're not really sure where she's at. And she was not that far off of Gaia Riolini, only 8 seconds off of Gaia Riolini. So what are they going to do? Because, I mean, there are stronger teams in the race. Lidl-Trek, I think, is the strongest team in this race by a mile. But SD Works is still SD Works. So what is their plan? How are they going to tackle this?
Well, I think SD Works Pro Time, they go into every race wanting to win it, right? But like you said, Lotte Kopecky is still there. I think she's obviously got her eyes on the Olympics, like many of those riders that are there at this race. So they're using this as basically their last event beforehand. So whether that's going for GC or just having really strong stage performances, I could see Lotte probably going, maybe trying to go for GC now that it's kind of open, but more so going for the stage wins and trying to rack up a few there and just have really hard days on the bike, because we know that's what Lotte likes to do before a big competition like the Olympics, is just have those hard days. I think for Neve, I'd like to see the team give her an opportunity to really be the protected rider and have the confidence in herself to have a crack if she's got the legs and she's feeling good. So for them, I see more stage wins and more so coming from Kopecky, and then potentially other riders getting in moves that are non-GC winning days where a break can go. And like Lidl-Trek, they can hold the pink jersey from day one to the end, basically. Even if it changes hands to Riolini, they have the strength and the power that they're not going to have the situation where like Demi was isolated basically the whole of Tour de Suisse.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Elisa is looking like she's in the form of her life at the moment. And this will be a race where she will have been dreaming about this for her whole career. So I would absolutely love to see her win this, but we've got 7 more stages. So let's wrap up this episode. We've got a final audio diary from EF-Oatly-Cannondale's Letizia Borghesi.
Oatly?
We'll be
as
back
in
tomorrow.
The milk?
For stage 2. Yeah, as in the milk.
The milk brand is their sponsor. That's amazing.
Yeah, they got a new sponsor.
I love that. I love that milk.
Hi, I am Letizia Borghesi of the team EF-Oatly-Cannondale, and today we did the first stage of Giro, the TT in Brescia. It was special to start in my 6th Giro, and it's always great to race in Italy. And we have a really strong team here, and we will fight for the general classification with Kim. But today, yes, I was a little nervous before the stage. I really wanted to give my best, and at the end I did a good TT. So I think I started the Giro with in the right way. And we are excited for the coming days, and we will fight to bring in the team the best result possible.